All right. And the last thing I want to cover is forecasting accuracy. Like I said, 99.9%, there's a chance that your problem is just not having enough leads. So fix that first. And then this is just a small bonus. What a lot of companies get wrong, right? They think they need a bunch of forecasting stages and other indicators and stuff like that when because they optimize for the system and not actually for the rep and the sales process that influence the forecast themselves. All right. And so the first step is to have proper qualification criteria, because if you have a bunch of junk leads that go into your pipeline, then your forecast obviously will be shit. All right. So we don't want this. And your qualification criteria should be adjusted to the top 20% of your market. That's your perfect ICP that spends the most, stays the longest, and complains the least. All right. So your market is distributed like this. You have the highest priority, highest profit leads, the top 20%, right? You just look at all your customers, you filter them by who spent the most, saved the longest, complained the least, take the top 20%, and that's now your new ICP. All right. And you write down all the similarities that they share in between each other. Okay. Then you have the middle 30%, right? So that's your second ICP. You can still sell to them, but those are your only other priority. They're still profitable. And this is only needed if your TAM, like if your top 20% is too small for you to achieve the goals that you have with the company, then you might need to sell to these people too. Who you don't need to sell to, at least with a active salesperson touching this lead, is the bottom 50%. All right. They don't bring a lot of money. They complain a lot. They don't stay long. So you can sell to them if you have like a checkout page and it's all automated. Self checkout works. Okay. But don't involve a salesperson in this. As a general rule, anything under $5,000 in annual revenue is like not worth it for a salesperson to work on. It should be even higher, but that's like the lowest benchmark. Okay. So you filter for your top 20%, and then you can cut the bottom 50% of your market completely. You adjust the messaging to address only the best customers, right? Top 20%. And as a result, if you do this, you get more profit and an increase in revenue, both at the same time. Everything gets easier. Your salespeople only talk to people who are pleasant to work with. Everything just gets better. If you do this, you'll have only qualified leads because, you only get people like this and maybe like this. You cut all of these that are volatile that are causing your forecast to be inaccurate. This is a goal. Okay. Like I said, why do we do this? Because the lower part of your market is volatile. Okay. They complain more and they cost more and they bring you less revenue. So just don't work with them. Because if you have a lot of these people in your pipeline, as a result, you'll have inconsistent forecasts. They're impossible to predict. So just avoid them. And there are more things to forecasting itself that have less to do with inconsistent sales pipeline and just inconsistent forecasting, right? Like pipeline stages, forecasting stages, CRM setups, reporting, software you can use, many more things. I will cover this in future videos. So if you want that, just subscribe so you don't miss it and like the video so I know you want to see it.